In this video I'm going to talk about book reviews and my thoughts around them. Hi, I'm Øystein and I'm trying to become a bookworm, and that's why I'm doing these book reviews. And frankly, I think my book reviews suck. At least they're honest. Maybe a little bit too honest. When I decided to become a bookworm, I thought to myself that I would take notes so I more easily could remember the things I've read, and by doing this I thought the reading wasn't a waste of time, because that was in many ways my thinking at that time. I also knew that if I took notes and thought about the books more, I would remember them for a longer period of time, and then my investment of time in the books would have a prolonged effect on my life. Then later I thought I would make videos of my book reviews, not because I thought the world needed my book reviews, but just because I thought if I made the book reviews I had to engage with the books even more. I think I have two reviews that people disagree with a lot, and that's Frankenstein and Hamnet, which both books I did not love at all. I find it equally funny making videos about the books I love and the books I didn't love, just because if you have a strong opinion of something, it's easier to make a video and it's easier to express your feelings. Then we have The Brothers Karamazov, which I read quite early in my bookworm career, and I gave a score of this book was okay, but many people think that I missed the message, and I can guarantee them that I did. If you listen to 3 different people, you will get 3 different aspects and 3 different book reviews. My book reviews are mainly I talk a little bit about the background of an author or a book, and then I talk a little bit about what the book was about, what I thought of the book, and if I am really lucky, I also talk about how the book made me feel, because that's the most important thing for me. The other form of book review may be the people that dig deeper into the history of the books and talk about the language, and these books reviews I can really enjoy just because I always learn something. It's just not the book reviews I make, of course. And I will never be capable of making book reviews like that ever. The first thing that really frustrates me when I read a book and then when I'm going to make a book review is that I always feel that it's entirely based on what I'm feeling when I read the book and when I'm doing my review. And not if I'm in a good mood or bad mood, it's just if this fits this. So if I'm having a dark day where I'm sort of isolated in my mind and I read a happy book, the probability of those two feelings crashing are quite big. If the book wants me to be a happy person at that time and I'm really not, that will be a bad experience. Or it doesn't have to be, it's just not going to work that well. And I don't know if I'm a person that where my mood changes too rapidly, but I always find it hard to choose a book based on my mood, because it at least can change in the course of me reading a book. And this is a thing that I've experienced sometimes when I read a larger book, that my mood actually differs quite a lot throughout the book. So sometimes I can feel that this isn't a really great book when I start, and then I finish and my mood sort of aligns with the book, making it feel a lot more better, or at least I can recognize what the book is trying to make me feel. This is of course something I can get better at. I can choose books that are more fitting to my mood. Sometimes I choose books because I feel I have to, but that feeling will decrease over time as I've read more books and know myself better as a reader, but currently this is an issue. But actually being conscious of this might make me a better book reviewer as well. This is also something I'm being honest about in my book reviews. I tell you that I was feeling this or that, or I can tell you that my feelings were clashing with the book at that time, which might help or might not help. This is also a reason why book reviews are hard. Then let's talk about expectations, because many times when you pick up a book you have expectations. I would say 100% of the time you might have some feeling about where this book is going or what you can expect from it. One example I have is when I read American Gods by Neil Gaiman. I loved the first books I read by Neil Gaiman. American Gods was the biggest so far, and the first ones I've read had been quite funny, so I expected that American Gods also would be funny, just because I read the sequel to American Gods first, and that was hilarious at times. But American Gods wasn't really that funny, and I'm pretty certain I would have liked that book better if I just thought that this is going to be a darker, grimmer type of book, and not that easygoing, happy kind. Would I have liked the book better if I had the right expectations for it? We will never get the answer because the book is too large, so I don't think I will ever read it again. That's a shame. So I felt like I wasted some time, and I sat with the feeling afterwards that I might have liked it better if I just had the right mindset when I started reading it. This isn't just about American Gods, it goes for all books. And if I start a book and I completely miss the feeling of the book before I start, I sort of have to spend some time finding the right equilibrium or balance in between my head and the book, just so we're starting off at the same page. So that's one thing, but also if you have a strong opinion of what is going to be a part of the plot and it just isn't about that thing at all, and that's the thing I do quite often. I hear about a plot in brief terms and then I just make a completely different story in my head. Then I start reading and I'm just like, this isn't how it's going to be. And all these are biases that I bring with me when I'm reviewing books, and it frustrates me before it frustrates you. Also, one thing, if I read a book review or seen a book review on YouTube and then started reading a book which the person says that you're going to be so sad because this is the saddest book I've ever read, and then I start reading and I'm not crying at all or feeling that much sadness, I often just think to myself, is there something wrong with me? Why am I not crying? And it's nobody's fault, it's just something that messes up my reading experience. The last thing that ruins my reviews and make my reviews bad is that sometimes when I pick up a book and decide to read it, I sometimes decide that this book is going to be bad. And sometimes that feeling just destroys the possibilities for me liking the book, but often also it makes the book very much better than I thought it would be. So I don't know if this is a good thing or a bad thing. I often find that if I have a negative mindset towards a book, I will often feel more positive when I read it and be happy with that. But often I feel like I should be more neutral when I start reading books. But also that's no fun. And then comes the day when you're actually going to make a review and it's time to tell you guys if the book is bad or good. And if it's bad, I sort of feel bad because I don't want to hurt anyone's feelings, and it's easier when the author's dead. I know that the living authors aren't going on my YouTube channel to watch my videos about their books. Or at least I don't think so. And I don't want to be very negative because I know that my knowledge of books are limited. That's why I'm sticking to talking about my feelings, which are easier. Still hard, but easier. And then it comes to the good books. And then I sit here and I talk about positive feelings and how it made me feel, but I never think that that's sufficient because the books are always better than I can describe them as. So do we still need book reviews? Well, some part of me wants to say no, just because I'm sure that I'm missing out on a fair amount of good books just because someone didn't like them. And I would believe that for many authors it would be hard to get into the big scenes if you have the first book review as a very, very bad one. But in the end, good books find their way to fame. I don't think so. But it is very fun to discuss books. But as I've tried to tell you in this video, I think that book reviews are so dependent on the mood of the reader and reviewer. At least that's the case with my book reviews, and I can only speak for myself. But I often feel that I'm being too harsh or too kind on some books just because my feelings before I started reading are different from the feelings I thought I would have. Book reviews play a big role in my life these days just because looking for good books is something I do all day. At least book reviews are better than ratings because a rating is just a number, as you know, and that's difficult to make up your mind about the book just based on that number. But many ratings adds up to an average, and I'm just afraid that average scares me more than it should. I know that I will miss out on many books that are good for me just because they have a low rating. That may be one of the saddest thing about this journey, that I will have books that I could treasure out there which I will never find. But that's life as a bookworm. This video has basically been about trash talking my own book reviews, so I sincerely hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you comment below if you have opinions about book reviews, and I hope to see you in the next video. Thank you for watching. Bye!